News Talk Sports Powerhouse. WWL New Orleans, WWL-FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
WWL First News at 6 o'clock. I'm Chris Miller on your official weather station, WWL. A little warmer weather for now.
As we get into this evening and tonight, staying under mostly cloudy skies, but temperatures, while cool, not quite as chilly as we had been, likely more in the 50s and maybe even some low 60s. Mostly cloudy skies at times during the day on Wednesday, a high of around 77. May see a few stray showers on Thursday with a cold front.
WWL TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin's local weather expert forecast is on the way. The city of New Orleans has given the green light to Mardi Gras. WWL's Dave Cohen tells us that word comes from City Hall today.
New Orleans is opening its arms and welcoming the world back for the upcoming carnival season.
Mardi Gras 22 is happening. Barring some completely catastrophic change in the numbers, Mardi Gras is happening.
Mayoral spokesman Bo Tidwell.
And we want people to come. We want them to come safe. That means hopefully being vaccinated.
He says the requirement that people show proof of vaccination or a recent negative COVID test to enter bars, restaurants, and venues will remain in place through the spring, including the Mardi Gras season. Meanwhile, the health department says the trial run at the Crew of Boo parade showed no spike in COVID spread.
NOPD is investigating a double shooting in the 1900 block of Toro Street that happened around 4 this afternoon. A couple of hours earlier, there was a triple shooting in Tremay, the 1300 block of Bienville. 6 are in custody after a Jefferson Parish Sheriff's deputy was injured in a scuffle on the West Bank. According to Sheriff Joe Lopinto, deputies were called to Manhattan and the West Bank Expressway because of people disrupting traffic. He says they encountered 3 adults and 3 kids. One of the adults was standing on top of an SUV.
Our sergeant asked him to come down. He refused to come down. Sergeant went up there. During that, a little struggle ensued, and our deputy fell off the top of that van, hitting his head back on the cement.
The sheriff said the sergeant was briefly knocked out, but was conscious and alert when taken to University Medical Center. Former St. Tammany Parish Sheriff Jack Strain is now an inmate in the Plaquemines Parish Jail, transferred there as he awaits sentencing after being convicted on 8 counts of rape, sexual assault, and incest. North Shore DA Warren Montgomery said it was a hard case to prosecute.
Jack Strain was a very powerful and influential individual. This was a high-stakes prosecution. As painful as this process has been for the victims.
Strain will likely be sentenced to life in prison in January, and he's awaiting trial on federal corruption charges. Clerk of New Orleans First City Court Austin Badon tells WWL that some renters have been getting money for rental assistance, but not using it to pay their landlords. Badon says he's concerned once more renters find out there's no criminal charges for doing this. It could spread like wildfire because the landlord's only response would be civil court.
And the landlord has to go through the trouble of filing a civil case against the tenant. And the problem comes in, let's say the tenant moves out and you don't know where to find them. Whenever you sue someone, you have to serve them. So if you don't know where they are, now you can't serve them.
The rental assistance program was set up by the Department of Treasury during the depths of the pandemic as a response to the eviction moratorium expiration. Louisiana Department of Health reports 474 new cases today of coronavirus, 27 more deaths from COVID-19. Hospitalizations up after several weeks of declines at 229.
CBS News Brief. Drug maker Pfizer has formally submitted a request asking U.S. officials for emergency authorization of its COVID-19 booster vaccine for people 18 and over. CBS's Dr. David Agus says it was already approved for immunocompromised people and those 65 and older in September.
We know that after vaccination from COVID-19 every month that the immunity goes down and enabling some breakthrough cases.
House investigators have issued subpoenas to 10 more former officials who worked for Donald Trump at the end of his presidency, including Stephen Miller and Kayleigh McEnany. CBS's Zach Hudak.
The subpoenas show that the committee is delving deeper into the actions of Mr. Trump himself leading up to and on January 6th, as it seeks information from those who surrounded him.
Attorney Rick Ramos represents victims in last week's Travis Scott concert.
Mr. Scott was fully aware from the basis of all the evidence that's out there that this was likely to occur and he could have foreseen it.
CBS News Brief. I'm Matt Piper.
I'm Jim Chesko with WWL's Closing Market Report, brought to you by Gulf South Guarantee. The stock market has been setting record closing highs much of the past 2 weeks, but not today. Tech shares led the market to a modestly lower finish. The S&P 500 fell 16 points, the Dow Industrials dipped 112, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ Composite slid 95. If you drive, you're well aware that gas prices have been creeping higher all year. According to AAA, Louisiana's current average for a gallon of gas is $3.16, the same for New Orleans. The average price for the Crescent City is 16 cents higher than it was a month ago. 1 year ago, the average price was $1.80. The big increase is because demand is higher than supply as the economy continues to recover from the pandemic. Meanwhile, U.S. oil prices ended sharply higher today. December crude jumped $2.22 or 2.7% to settle at $84.15 a barrel, a two-week high. That's WWL's closing market report brought to you by Gulf South Guarantee.
Weather, traffic, and sports flash next to WWL News Time 6:05.
It's hurricane season. Imagine for a moment that an intense storm is pounding your house. Will your roof leak? Will the siding peel away? Will it flood? If your house is properly built and maintained, you'll be fine. What about your retirement income strategy? The stock market has had a great run the last few years, but is its current volatility making you feel uneasy? Are you confident your retirement income strategy is built to endure a financial storm? Now may be a great time to get an evaluation on your retirement strategy. This is Glenn Pellis with Gulf South Guarantee. Call us now so we can show you how you can weatherproof your retirement nest egg. Call now for a no-obligation appointment. Don't let your retirement get caught in the rain. Call us at 877-615-4312. That's 877-615-4312. Or find us on the web at GulfSouthGuarantee.com.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
High clouds rolled in as we're starting to see a bit of a pattern change over the next couple of days. We'll also start to see a brief warm-up and a little bit more humid over the next couple of afternoons. Tonight, though, with the mostly cloudy skies around and a little bit more of an easterly wind, temperatures won't be getting quite as chilly. Still dropping into the 50s, maybe a light jacket, but we'll start out the day on Wednesday in the 50s and low 60s on both sides of the lake. Mostly cloudy skies, a little bit more low cloudiness rolling in Wednesday and into Thursday. A high of 77 on Wednesday, 81 on Thursday, and a little more humid. Wouldn't call it muggy in November, but certainly you'll feel the difference as a cold front will approach and move through. Not expecting much in the way of rainfall with the front, about a 30% chance. Likely seeing some lingering clouds Friday before a real surge of colder air arrives for the weekend. High temperature Saturday struggling to get into the low 60s, mid to upper 60s by Sunday, and will stay in the 60s for a high into early next week. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL-TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin.
70 degrees here in downtown New Orleans. It's 62 north of the lake. I'm Chris Miller, WWL First News. WWL traffic.
From the Acadian Windows and Siding WWL Traffic Center, I'm Joshua Dausch. I-10 eastbound leaving the city towards the high-rise. All lanes are finally open at Elysian Fields from an accident. Traffic still slow all the way up to the top of the high-rise bridge. If you're coming from the West Bank on the connection backups inside of between Terry Parkway and Stuff Boulevard. Traveling out to Metairie, West I-10 is slow from Carrollton up to the Parish line, right around the 610 merge there. Earlier accident still sitting on the right shoulder before Bonneville. 610 West backups all the way to St. Bernard. Past that, moving fine to the airport and Spillway. If you're coming in from Kenner, I-10 slow off the Bonnie Carey up to Vets. And on the 310 northbound, some heavy backups there with an accident at the on-ramp getting onto the I-10. Traffic brought to you by Dornax Food Center.
Get your party started with help from Dornax Food Center. Order from a variety of delicious party platters from our catering department, pastries from our bakery, all made fresh. Dornax has all you could need and more.
Family owned, family operated, family service.
Traffic tip, call WWL 260-WINFO.
WWL Sports Flash.
The New Orleans Saints are off today. The Black and Gold get back to work tomorrow, preparing for the best team in the AFC in the Tennessee Titans. Saints head coach Sean Payton has one big question he wants answered from his receiving corps.
How do we find ways to get access, and how do we find ways to get separation?
Tennessee is 7-2 and coming off a big win over the Rams last week. LSU is back at home this Saturday night in Death Valley, taking on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Coach Ed Ogeron says he's playing both Max Johnson and freshman Garrett Nussmeier at quarterback against the Hogs.
They'll split reps in practice, and we're going to play both Max and Garrett. Max is going to start, but I'm going to give Garrett significant snaps at the beginning of the game, and then we'll see how it goes.
Kickoff Saturday night is set for 6:30 p.m. right here on WWL. Will Wade and the LSU men's basketball team tips off their season tonight in the PMAC against Louisiana Monroe. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m., and you can hear it on our sister station, 1350 a.m. This WWL Sports Flash is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Drink Bud Light. For the latest on the black and gold, the LSU Fighting Tigers and the New Orleans Pelicans, log on to our website at WWL.com or follow us on Twitter at WWL-AM-FM. Up next is Sports Talk with Bobby Hebert, me and the NFL and college football analyst Mike Detillier. I'm Christian Garrett.